Hello, everyone, and welcome to Meow Mix, the Carolina Panthers podcast. My name is Steven.
My name is Jerry.
And we are here to talk about a lot of things today, honestly. The Panthers news cycle has not been quiet.
No.
Almost none of it is positive. So prepare yourselves for that. We will briefly touch on last week's game. I don't think anyone wants to spend too much time in that world.
Yeah, I think basically we're going to say we lost, we sucked. Okay, David Tepper threw a Tepper Tantrum, and we'll go from there on that segment.
All right, recap over. So that's all we needed there. Honestly, there's nothing to talk about with that game. Everyone looked terrible.
Yeah. I did come away with one thing. I do. So this will be our last game. I did come away realizing that Bryce Young, he needs better protection, but I've noticed once he gets hit a lot, he gets rattled. Now, I don't know if it's this season that has got him a little bit more nervous, but it is something that is worrisome that you get that MO of getting hit rattles you. So,
and to be fair to Bryce, getting sacked 6 times would rattle any quarterback.
Oh, no.
Right?
Again, I understand why he's getting rattled because he's been just getting obliterated back there. But I'm just saying, I did notice that last week when he had the good game, or 2 weeks ago when he had the good game, they kept him for the most part pretty clean.
Yeah, he was only sacked twice in that game. Yep.
So
which is like the lowest of the season, I think.
Yeah, so I do think that protecting him, should be number one priority in the offseason. Mm-hmm. But that seems like something to keep an eye on next year, if it's a trend or if it was just a fluke with the onslaught of getting obliterated.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that he's taken so many hits. I mean, excuse me. Kudos to him for being a tough dude. Honestly, he is taking those hits, and he's starting to show frustration on the sidelines, but in the huddle and during the game flow, you don't see him screaming at guys or getting real dejected. You do see it on the sidelines in terms of him throwing tablets and things like that, which has only happened once. But what I do like is that he's always very accountable for himself, maybe to a fault, right? Because it's not all his fault. No. But I'm not overly concerned about Bryce in terms of his mental makeup, like getting too dejected, too down, too rattled. In terms of his long-term success, right? I'm not too concerned about that. I think he's a very mentally strong guy. So, but it's been tough to watch. Yeah, this whole season has been really tough to watch, and thank God. I mean, this is the last regular season game for the Panthers, and it cannot come soon enough. I am ready to be done with this team for a few months.
And honestly, if it starts out the way last week did with, I don't even know who was giving up sack after sack. Icky was one.
Yeah, all of them.
If he starts getting hit, pull him. I'm sorry, Andy. I'm tossing you.
I mean, I've been against pulling him, against benching him for the rest of the season a few weeks ago. I mean, we had a segment where we talked about it. I see a lot of people on Twitter advocating for benching him. At this point, I'd be fine if he didn't start this game. I'd be fine if they just said, he's sick,
bruised ribs.
I'd be perfectly fine with it. There's nothing else we can see from it. He has a good game, great. He has a shitty game, great. I mean, at this point, nothing that he's going to do is going to make me feel any different than I feel today about his future, which to me is just completely up in the air. I have no idea.
So 100%.
I hope that he doesn't get hurt. That's that's my only wish for this game.
Me too.
But we will talk about it. We will talk about the game. And then there's some interesting subplots with this game. So we'll discuss Panthers Bucks here coming up. But before that, there is some news that we should discuss.
Yes. Starting off, Jonathan Mingo placed on IR. Not surprising. He's out for this game. Freeing it up.
Could we see Terrace Marshall Jr.? for the first time in several weeks. No.
I just don't think this coaching regime likes him. I don't think he's shown enough to this coaching regime to give him a shot, as they're promoting other guys around him to play. So, yeah.
It's got to be some sort of attitude thing with him, right? Like,
I guess. I don't know.
Like, from a talent standpoint, he's not worse than the guys they've been trotting out there.
No.
So I don't get it. But something's going on behind the scenes. It has to be.
Yeah.
So, okay. Well, maybe we won't. But some guys that we might see in a few weeks, some Pro Bowl alternates. Yes, you heard it. The Panthers have some Pro Bowl alternates. No starters. One guy I think should have been a starter, but he plays on a 2-win team, is Derek Brown.
Yeah, 100%.
He's the only first alternate for the Panthers.
He should have been the only Pro Bowler we had.
Yeah, I imagine he will end up making the Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
Just from all the dropouts and Super Bowl teams and all that. So Derek Brown, probably a Pro Bowler. Brian Burns somehow is a alternate. Second alternate.
I don't understand that. He has not had a good year. He has disappeared. No. He really probably cost himself some money in this season.
Yeah, and he could very well make it as well. I mean, second alternate is, you just need two guys to drop. So, and there's going to be guys that go deep into the playoffs or play in the Super Bowl that are going to be Pro Bowlers that, Brian Burns will probably also make it. Johnny Hecker and J.J. Jansen, both of whom I would have way above Brian Burns, were named third alternates at their positions.
Dude, I would love to see J.J. Jansen get it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, long snapper is probably going to the Pro Bowl. Whoever got that job.
Probably, yeah. If not the first, or the actual guy, then certainly the first alternate. Yeah, you're not turning that down as a long snapper. Yeah, but okay. Well, congrats to those guys. I mean, again, Brian Burns, I don't really understand it, but he's talented. Yeah. Just didn't see the results this year.
I am so heartbroken he did not have a better year. I was really expecting him to jump out this year.
It's of all the positives that we've talked about at Evero, Brian Burns' regression and Jeremy Chin's disappearance are two of the things that I find to be pretty disappointing.
100%.
Evero's done a great job otherwise. I mean, keeping the Panthers in games,
Derek Brown has taken that step. We need to.
Frankie Louvu definitely taking a step. Surprised he's not even an alternate. I don't.
Yeah.
Why is he not a first or second alternate? I mean, are you kidding me? But the corners have looked very good,
especially considering the injuries that they have.
Yeah.
I mean, J.C. Horn has barely played this year. Dante Jackson has been in and out of the lineup like he always is. C.J. Henderson, we haven't cursed his name that much this season, so that's a positive.
Well, lately he hasn't been playing, but
Troy Hill came in
and produced.
Yeah.
Yep. So again, they've had their ups and downs as well, but on the whole, I've been pretty pleased with the secondary. So, but yeah, I mean, Burns and Chen have just they're shells of their former selves, honestly, this season. So, and with Burns especially in a contract year, I'm shocked that he didn't have double-digit sacks. But well, let's get to the big news. Let's get to the thing that everybody's talking about, Jerry.
Yeah, all the national pundits, everybody is talking about David Tepper's audition for Real Housewives of Charlotte in Jacksonville. Throwing a cup of liquid. Don't know what it was.
Yeah, liquid. Something.
Towards fans that were probably talking some junk towards him. He has been fined $300,000 for him. That's like pocket change, so.
It's nothing. It's not even a slap on the wrist.
He's just an embarrassment.
It's like a stern talking to, and it means nothing to him. It is. It's super embarrassing, and it. I was listening to like Dan Patrick, national radio host, just talking about how embarrassing it was. He had Scott Fitterer on today, and they were just it's there's no way to spin it that's positive.
No.
Now, had Tepper come out and actually apologized, which even his statement was non-apologetic.
Oh, dude, that just read like some PR person wrote it for him.
We're not going to read it word for word, but basically it was like, I'm so passionate about this team. I regret my actions, but I should have had security handle this. Like, just blaming everything but himself, essentially.
Exactly. That's his problem. He never takes responsibility. He's like a huge, big baby that has billions of dollars, so he just gets away with it.
And he does. And that's the problem. Right?
I mean,
even in this case, he
he's
didn't
buried
even
this franchise in his 6 years here.
Yeah. He should have gotten suspended for the last game, at least.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if nothing else, it's embarrassing for him, right?
Yeah.
And this whole escapade, I'm sure, has been somewhat embarrassing. But again, there's no consequences for him. Right? This $300,000 will go to charity. He'll probably write it off.
Yeah.
Right? It's no loss at all. It is no loss at all for him. But yeah, it's this is just yet another in a long line of inteptitudes. Scott Fitterer has coined inteptitudes. It's just completely terrible leadership from the guy who's supposed to be the leader of your entire franchise.
He just doesn't get it. Like,
no.
he doesn't understand, like, how to be a normal human being.
Yeah, and he likes to think of himself as the everyman's billionaire, right?
Yeah.
And he is not.
Like, he threw away $200 million, I believe, in Rock Hill because of the politicians tried to renegotiate. Now, I agree on his side on that, coming back later on after you made an agreement not to do that. But
sure, but the way it was handled
100%
was terrible. Very poor and made him look terrible.
Yes.
Right? There were probably ways to
salvage it.
Salvage that, yes. And not leave a half-built, really nice facility just laying there.
Correct.
I mean, just mishandled completely.
Supposedly he told Ron Rivera to switch over to a 3-4, which obviously did bad.
Yeah.
I mean, he's making coaching decisions. He's making general manager decisions. And he's done all this, and it makes it look bad and bad. This team is the worst in the NFL. We have a new Daniel Snyder here in Charlotte. I mean, I think he wants to win. I do believe that. I think his ego just won't let him win because that means he needs to step back.
It'd be one thing if he was making good decisions.
Oh, yeah.
Right. It'd be one thing if the 3-4 worked. It'd be one thing if, these coaching hires were competent, right? And if the fact that he's forcing Frank Reich to hire specific guys that he has handpicked, if they all actually gelled together and it worked, great. But nothing that he has done has worked.
Nope.
Even bringing in the soccer team, which is, his best success, has hurt the football team because of the turf.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's the only thing that he can point to outside of being the bringer of music. That's the only thing he can point to that is a positive that he's done for, the area.
It's just so frustrating because I was so hopeful when he came here and he wanted to win. He had the money, but he just can't get out of his own way. He is so stubborn. And the big thing is, like we've discussed earlier, he can't apologize. He can't bring it within himself to say, I'm sorry, I messed up. Even that leaked report from inside a couple weeks ago where he's learned a lesson. He's growing. 2 weeks later, he throws his drink on a fan because he loses his cold.
And even that was a leaked report, right?
Yeah.
He didn't come out and say that in a press conference. No. That was a leaked report that he would, I'm sure, deny or spin, right? Yeah, it is embarrassing, and unfortunately, you can't fire an owner. I mean, there are ways that an owner can be removed. It's never happened in the NFL.
Snyder was the closest one, and basically he stole money from the other owners, and that's what finally got him.
And even he wasn't removed.
No.
He was essentially just pressured into selling.
Yeah.
Right?
You don't want to be the guy who was forced to sell for the first time.
Right. I mean, even in the NBA, like Donald Sterling was essentially pressured into selling. He wasn't removed. Right? And he did some terrible things.
Awful, yeah.
This is, it's certainly Tepper is not that.
No.
Right? And even you could say what he is doing is not as harmful as what Jerry Richardson was doing, right? Like, to those victims. But what he is doing is just embarrassing and
us as fans,
making Panthers fans miserable. Like, it sucks. It's not fun to be a fan of this team.
Especially,
and every week it's something else.
And especially because we can't fire him, like you said.
Right.
He's the top of the pyramid. So if that's what's rotten, everything else is rotten below it.
That's right. Yep. There is a petition going around to have him removed that is going to be sent to Roger Goodell.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I may or may not have signed it, because why not? But you can find it out there. Change.org, I think. Do we want to spend any more time on David Tepper? I mean, I feel like everyone knows where we stand.
Oh, man.
And where everyone stands, honestly. I haven't heard anyone like positive.
Defend him?
Had he apologized immediately, had he come out with a statement within, that day, right, and said, hey, I apologize to the Jaguars fans. I am really, upset about how the season has gone, and it just got to me.
Yeah.
I think everyone would have been like, you know what, we get it. Like, you're human. Those Jags fans were almost definitely like ragging on him hard. Like, we all would have understood that. Yes, it still would have been embarrassing. Yes, he still would have probably gotten fined. But I don't think it would be making national news anymore.
No,
right?
I agree. I think it may have made national news right away. Because, I mean, it is a big deal.
But they wouldn't be talking about it today.
No, but you would come out and just say, hey, I'm sorry. I was in the heat of moment watching the game. It's been a rough year. Some fans were jawing at me. It got under my skin. I lost my cool. I'm sorry.
I'm human.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we get that. We get that. There have been many times that I've wanted to throw whatever's in my hand at someone. Right?
Especially the TV every Sunday around 1 p.m. lately.
Yeah. Usually the announcers, because they're so terrible. But
that's what you get when you're a horrible team organization. You
get the D+ crews. By the way, the camera work in this past game was just awful. Like, it was terrible. Especially towards the end of the game. Like, the camera guy, I don't know if they were letting their kids do it because like the game was basically over, but
they were like, no one's watching this crap.
Yeah. They were missing. They were following guys that didn't have the ball, and it was just terrible. But anyway, yeah. So Tepper would be nice if he left, but he's here to stay. Next guy we're going to talk about might not be.
Yes, this is our topic of the week. Should Fitterer stay or go? Real quickly, we're going to kind of go through some of his draft picks, his free agent signings, kind of just show you the ineptitude.
There you go. Yeah. I almost started this podcast out by saying, "Welcome to Ineptitude, a Carolina Panthers podcast."
You know what's funny is I sidetrack is that when I was thinking about this the other day, I was like, if I ever do another podcast by myself real quick now, I'd say, Meow Mix, the league's worst team podcast. Something like that.
Yeah. Oh, man. Jerry is already planning on moving on without me, I guess.
No, I was just, because I don't do the intro. You do.
We're going to do competing podcast. Mine is just going to be all about how.
No, you do meow. I do mix.
Oh yeah. Yours is going to be about like the whole team. Mine is strictly about special teams. I am only going to talk about the kicker and the punter. That's it.
Not even the return guys.
No, kicker and the punter. We're going to have 30 minutes every week about the kickers. Real quick, I did read a report today that said that Scott Fitterer, around the league, it is expected that he will be fired, but he's very well liked within the organization, and Tepper likes him a lot. So it is not a done deal at all.
Well, yeah.
But what we're going to talk about is, should he be fired?
Yes. I mean, just look at the picture of Tepper throwing the drink. I mean, all Fitterer did was just sit there and still
didn't even react.
He wasn't like, hey man, that's probably not a good idea. He was like, yes sir, you throw that drink. I will stand here and watch
throw,
the
Mr. Tepper. Good throw, Mr. Tepper.
Do you
and that little flick, that little flick that he did at the end, where he just like flicked the cup and then immediately retreated as quickly as he could, because that's fake tough guy energy right there. That made me so mad. That was like throwing the drink. That didn't make me mad, but his little like screw you guy, like, whatever he said, or bitch, or whatever he did, like I don't know. That was the part that just made me laugh. All right, back to Scott Fitterer. Sorry.
Another 2 minutes on complaining about Tepper.
Yeah. Not the last time, I'm sure.
No, Fitterer. Okay, so he started in 2021 here. So quickly starting off his first draft. Now, this was Matt Rule, and a lot of people, us included, believe a lot of these picks were from Matt Rule. Mm-hmm. He picked J.C. Horn, first round. I would say that's a miss just because he hasn't even played half the time he's been here.
Wrong pick.
Yep. Terrace Marshall Jr. in the second pick. Miss.
Awful pick.
I mean, he's a healthy scratch. Brady Christensen, third round. That's a great pick. I mean, he was a penciled-in starter.
Great pick.
Good pick, okay? Good pick.
I would say good pick. Yeah, I would say good pick.
He's a quality player in the third round. Tommy Tremble, I would say that's a good pick. Same reason.
I would say TBD. Not an awful pick.
Okay pick.
Still a third round pick.
Chuba, that's good pick in the fourth round.
Yep.
Davion Nixon, fifth round, bad.
Miss.
Yeah. Keith Taylor in the fifth round, okay. I mean, he played some good games.
Fifth round, I think you're okay with that.
Yeah. I mean, he played some games. He played well sometimes. I mean.
Yeah. I'm honestly, anything fifth round or after, I'm not going to kill anybody on, except for one pick.
I was going to say, okay, what about this one? Deontay Brown, Shi Smith in the sixth, and then the one that everybody knocked when it happened, Thomas Fletcher. Now, if he was on the team and replaced J.J.
Long
Jensen,
snapper, by the way, if you forgot his name, long snapper.
If he was still on this team, I would say good pick.
No. Not even then. Because you can get these guys for free.
But
you can get these guys for free.
Phil Hoskins, seventh round. Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah.
Seventh round pick.
Free agent signing. This is where actually I think he had his best pickups. And it's funny, I also think he has worse pickups.
Right.
David Moore, wide receiver, did nothing here. Frankie Louvu, linebacker, who we thought was going to be nothing, and that's awesome. Hassan Reddick, great signing. Daquan Jones, okay. Rashawn Melvin.
I mean, Daquan Jones played well that year. I was happy with that signing.
Rashawn Melvin,
whatever.
Dan Arnold got traded, never played here. Morgan Fox, okay. He played well.
Yeah, he was
Denzel Perryman, great signing. I mean, he made the Pro Bowl that year. Unfortunately, it wasn't with the Panthers because we cut him before that. And AJ Boye, cornerback. Okay.
Okay.
And the last two were the worst picks. First day of free agency, Cam Irving, offensive tackle, and Pal Elfline. Oh my God, these guys were so awful. So awful.
They won't go away. We have to keep talking about them somehow.
I know.
They keep coming back. Cam Irving, by the way, playing pretty well this year. Not with the Panthers, but playing okay. Obviously Louvu. Of the draft and free agency for that first year, the diamond in the rough. Hassan Reddick should still be here.
Right? Yeah. That's actually what I was about to jump in to. Like, they let him walk. Yeah. They let him walk.
And bringing in Dan Arnold and then trading him, a few weeks into the season for, at the time we thought was going to be a pretty good, get with C.J. Henderson. Obviously hasn't worked out. C.J. Henderson is not a good football player.
I won't negatively call that trade. I won't say it was a bad trade by Fitterer's aspect, because of the simple fact you got a 9th overall pick for a 3rd and Dan Arnold 1 year after he was picked. He already had all the skill sets. So, I mean, I understand. Okay. Like, that trade.
Sure. And he was in his 2nd year. Like, it was a good reach, right? Yes. It was a good shot to take. Just 100%. Didn't work out. The Denzel Perryman thing, just terrible. Obviously, there was some sort of locker room thing with him and Matt Rule. They just didn't get along. That's unfortunate, because he would have been a really good player that year.
Yeah. Moving on to the draft 2022. Icky, bust. Right now, I would say bust.
So far, yep.
Matt Corral, bust.
Yep.
Not even on the team. Brandon Smith, bust. Not on the team.
Yep.
Amari Barno in the 6th round. I'm good
Fine.
with.
Like it. Good pick.
I still think he should play more, but
yeah. Hey, again, anything 5th round and up,
you're making plays, or you're on the team still. Good job.
Still on the team. That's a
Cade Mays right there with you. Kalen Barnes didn't even make that year's roster.
Yeah, and Cade Mays not a very good player right now, but again, 6th round pick. You're still on the team. That's something.
Yeah, he's made unfortunately significant playing time, but I mean,
especially this year. Yep.
All right, so free agents in 2022 that he signed: Dante Jackson to a 3-year, $35 million. Austin Corbett.
Dante Jackson instead of Stephon Gilmore. I think we must caveat that.
Yes.
And by the way, that year was a trade with Stephon. Great trade. Should have kept Stephon Gilmore.
Mm-hmm. Stephon Gilmore is still playing at a high level, which, wow. But Dante Jackson signed. Austin Corbett, 3 years. Xavier
Good
Woods.
Good signing.
Not the wrestler, the safety. Every time you look up Xavier Woods, just let you know a wrestler pops up.
Hey.
Johnny Hecker, your favorite.
Great one.
Damian Wilson, horrible.
Yep.
And Matt Ioannidis, Bradley Bozeman, Justin Burris. I mean, I'm just going through. Eddie P. got signed that year.
Yeah.
So
I mean, Eddie P's been good. Justin Burris, not great. Who was the one you said before that?
Justin Burris, Jashawn Melvin, Bradley Bozeman.
Bozeman's been a starter and probably shouldn't have been re-signed to the deal that he got. But if they go back to the scheme where he is successful,
where he even admits it,
right? He is a fine center. So
I agree. Real quickly though, the guys that he didn't resign: Daquan Jones, Hassan Reddick. I mean, those right there.
Stephon Gilmore.
I mean, those 3 really hurt you. Well, not Daquan, but the other 2 really hurt you, in my opinion.
Yeah, those are massive misses, and there are other ones that we're not thinking of, I'm sure. But yeah, just huge misses.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not seeing any other names that I see, but oh well. I mean, yeah.
Keep going. What's our next one?
Oh, sorry.
This year's draft.
Next draft, 2023, last year's draft. Very familiar. Bryce Young, up in the air, to be determined. Johnson.
So far, though, seems like an L, right? Like, just because you're giving up the number 1 pick this year, you gave up DJ Moore.
I would say that trade was definitely an L.
Yeah. It seems like, the whole package, as of right now, seems like a loss.
Yeah, I don't see how you can look at Bryce Young and say he's a transcendent player that is turning around the franchise.
Yeah, certainly not yet.
So, and that's what you gave up for.
Right.
Jonathan Mingo, to be determined. DJ Johnson, can we go ahead and call that a bust?
Yep.
Okay. Chandler Savala.
Yep.
Man, I had high hopes for him, but bust right now.
Terrible player.
Jamie Robinson. Okay, 5th round.
He's been out there a bit.
Yeah.
Right?
That's
Again,
why I said.
Another guy that...
Okay, yeah. I'm good with him being there.
Don't know that he'll be on the team next year, but he's...
Exactly.
Put in some work.
So, moving on to the free agents. Adam Thielen. Good.
Win.
It's a more pricey...
I mean, 100 catches, 1,000 yards. He's earned the money.
Miles Sanders, god-awful.
Terrible.
Von Bell, I would say that's a good signing. I mean, he played well.
Yeah.
Hayden Hurst.
Bad. They paid him too much money.
Yeah.
For what he's produced. I mean, he basically got the same deal that Miles Sanders got, right? Mm-hmm. And they just, neither one of them did anything this year.
Shai Tuttle. I feel like Nick Thurman has played better than Shai Tuttle.
Yeah. I don't think we paid Shai Tuttle a ton of money. So.
3 years, 19.
Okay, too much. Yep, that's an L.
Bradley Bozeman, we signed him.
That was the re-sign, yeah.
Andy Dalton, I'm not going to knock that pick because that is what...
No, I actually think that was a very good signing.
Yeah, I was going to say, even though we haven't seen him play besides one game, $5 million for that type of backup quarterback, I would sign anything.
Happy, very happy.
Justin Houston, $6 million. I mean, he's not even on the team anymore.
And $6 million for nothing.
Nothing.
He gave us nothing.
DJ
has he been re-signed, by the way? Has he been signed anywhere? I'm gonna look. You keep going.
Okay. DJ Shark.
$10 million. He hasn't produced that, but I don't think it's all his fault.
No, I don't either.
But I'm gonna say that was not a good signing based on
Spot Rack has him at $5 million, but I think you were right. It was 10.
Yeah, it was 10.
So maybe it was like a $5 million signing bonus.
Maybe I'm not sure, but it was definitely 10.
Any other names here? I see Camus Grugier Hill. I want to say that was a good pick.
Yeah, I really like him. I think that was a great pick.
And then we've already discussed Troy Hill's signing trade. That was a good one.
Yep. Justin Houston, by the way, has not been signed anywhere.
Well, I mean, he put such good tape on the field.
Yeah, but there were a lot of people. A lot of people were saying that he's gonna ball out wherever he goes. No,
I think he's done.
He's done. He may get signed by a playoff team as they go into the playoffs just for depth, but I don't think he plays another down. All right, so Scott Fitterer, what would you grade him in terms of everything that we've just gone over?
I would say D. I mean,
yeah.
I don't.
I'm going F.
I was gonna say, I don't want to say F, but where's his hits? Where you gotta hit something, especially for there's not depth on the team.
I mean, the drafts have been terrible, straight up terrible.
You're missing on the top 2-3 picks or rounds, and that's you're not hitting. You have to hit those.
I mean, honestly, there's not one draft pick that we said was great.
No.
Right?
No.
Not a single one in 3 years. Now, J.C. Horn is a great player when he's healthy, but he's not been healthy.
And Pat Surtain is a Pro Bowler, All-Pro, that was picked right after him, who everyone said was a better player.
Yep. And you had Justin Fields, who is turning out to look pretty good. You had Micah Parsons, who went a few picks later, who we thought should have been the pick, right?
We thought he was the best player that they had a chance to.
And that's just that year. Icky. I mean, there were questions about whether he was the best lineman in that draft. Certainly doesn't look to be the case. All right, we're gonna have to.
All right, so we'll be right back. And sorry about that. Zoom decided to go ahead and start counting us down for the last few seconds of that session.
Listen, if you guys want to send us money so we can pay for Zoom, we'll accept it. We'll accept it. Otherwise, it's going to be a slight inconvenience for all of us.
Well, I'm hoping I can build my new computer in the off season, and we can use a different service besides Zoom.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. All right, so just to wrap up the Scott Fitterer segment here, I'm an F, you're a D.
I moved it to an F. I don't like giving out Fs, but you're right. There's no good hits. The best pickup was Frankie Louva and Hassan Reddick. He let Hassan Reddick go.
And we don't even know if we're going to be able to re-sign Frankie Louva.
He turned down the Brian Burns trades and then doesn't even re-sign him.
Yeah, I didn't even mention that. That's a huge one.
That's so big.
Yeah, that's an incredible fail.
Yes, if you turn that down, you pay him. I mean,
you have to.
Yes, he hasn't had a good off season or a good season, but you're just.
But you didn't know that before the season.
No.
He was coming off his best season ever, and you turned down 2 first-round picks for him and a third.
And you trade away Christian McCaffrey that year too. For right now, looks like a bag of peanuts considering he's close to an MVP.
Yeah.
He's not going to get it.
You didn't even get a first-round pick for him.
Nope.
You traded away your best receiver, the best receiver you've had since Steve Smith.
And best running back in the league.
Yeah. It's he's got to go. He's got to go. He is not a good general manager. There's only one reason he stays. It's because David Tepper can manipulate him.
Yeah.
All right, we went different directions there, but it's because David Tepper.
I think we went the same directions, but
yes, David Tepper's got his hand straight up there. That's right. I went fist, and he can just manipulate him however he wants. But he's got to go. And what I'm thinking is going to happen is, if he's not fired immediately after the season, is that once the new head coach comes in, he'll be fired at that point, and the new head coach and
can I just say that is backwards. That is always. I don't know why he keeps doing it that way. It shouldn't be.
Yeah, it's the way he does it. He thinks this is the way to go. I don't. And it's possible he brings in someone like a Harbaugh or a Belichick who will more than likely run
everything.
Both.
Yeah.
Right. But he wants Ben Johnson. That's pretty clear. Ben Johnson's not one of those guys.
And Ben Johnson, I'm hard pressed to see if he would actually want to come here.
Well, he's not. Tepper's not doing himself any favors.
No.
The way he's acting. But I told you he was going to come back up again. But anyway, all right. Fitterer's got to go. We're both on board. You guys let us know in the comments if you're still listening what you think, if you agree with us, if there's something we've missed that tells us that that Fitterer is an amazing GM. I'd love to hear it.
Man, I had such high hopes. I've had so many high hopes for this.
That's the thing, man. We keep getting let down. We keep getting promised Matt Rule, just a high demand, right? It felt like a win when they signed him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tepper, when he came in, we thought that was going to be great. This guy comes in with a lot of money. He's, younger than Jerry Richardson. He's an analytics guy. We thought that was going to be great. It's been terrible. Frank Reich comes in. It's like, oh man, this is awesome. He's got the nostalgia, going to keep pounding back, and terrible. Everything has been terrible. The Rock Hill thing. Oh, it's going to be great. We don't have to drive down to Spartanburg and have a nice facility to go watch training camp and
top of the
practices.
line, elite facility.
Yeah. It's going to make people want to come here. It's going to make guys, when they go visit that, they're going to want to play here. Nah, ruined it. Now they're taking the tent down. I don't even know what they're going to have. It's going to have nothing.
They're going to go back to the old convention center. Do you remember that when they used to practice in the old convention center when it would rain?
Oh my God, dude. Where are the wins? What is it that
we
Panthers
won when
fans...
we were doing that? Maybe that's the goal.
Yeah, hey. Yeah, take it all the way back. Take it all the way. Bring Rivera back. He's about to be fired. All right. Well, let's briefly move on to this week's game.
Okay. Sorry, I'm still laughing about that.
Yeah. Panthers versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yes, Buccaneers are favorites here by 4.5 points. The over-under is currently 37.5.
Typical.
I don't even know what you can say.
Well, it's an important game for the Bucs.
It is.
They win and they're in. They win the division. They lose, they don't win the division. Right? I mean, I think because the Saints and Falcons play, and I think the Saints are currently tied with the Bucs, and the Falcons are one game back.
Correct. That's exactly how it is.
And I'm pretty sure that the Falcons would get the tiebreaker over the Bucs. So, I mean, winning you're in, losing you're out.
There's a lot for them to play for. I don't know what the Panthers are playing for. I mean,
it would be fun to ruin their season.
That's it.
That's what I'm looking forward to. That's the only reason I'm going to watch this game, is to root as hard as I can for Bucs fans to be depressed.
Yeah.
And to feel a little smidgen of my pain. A tiny amount of my pain.
Yeah, I mean that's it. I don't have injuries or anything right here. Let me read off the impact player injuries from PFF. Sure. Baker Mayfield, torso questionable. C. Davis, cornerback, head, it says.
Head?
Maybe. Yeah. Right. I was like, maybe concussion.
An interesting way to say that. Maybe he's like getting head and he just doesn't want to play.
Hey, bringing it back to Tepper. And, Scott Fitterer. Oh, kids, I'm sorry.
They're not listening anymore.
Tight end. Arm. Okay.
Arm.
I
love PFF. This is great. We should do this every week. Just random body parts.
JC Horn, leg, questionable.
Okay.
Marquise Haynes, head.
Oh my
God. Smith Marset, Amir Smith Marset, other.
Oh, okay.
Questionable.
A mystery.
Troy Hill, head.
Wow.
I'm sorry.
That's awesome.
I was trying to get the prep work for the Fitterer segment, and I didn't get to
this. It's fine.
I was
fine.
No one really cares about this game besides some.
If you guys want to see the injury reports, just Google them. I mean, honestly, like, there's no keys to winning this game. We're not going to go into all of that. Like, what do we want to see? What's going to make you happy at the end of this game?
Bryce Young healthy.
Yeah. I'd love to see Bryce have a decent game.
I would like to see.
But like I said, it's not going to change my opinion either way.
I would like to see Chuba Hubbard have a great game.
Yeah. I'd like to see Chuba get like 200 rushing yards.
Yeah, I'm actually seeing
awesome.
How many he needs for this. Oh, no, he needs a lot more. Never mind. He still needs 200 yards.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I'd like to see him get 200 plus, but it likely won't happen, but that would be great.
Yeah.
Thielen needs, I see his like 11 catches to beat his career high.
Give me 1 second. He is currently at 101 and 1,000 yards. His highest catch total is 13. So, yeah.
Okay. So, he needs 13 catches, I guess, to beat it. Which he's, I think, done this year.
His highest catch total has been 11, which he's done 3 times.
Yeah. So, not out of the realm of possibility. Been a while since he's caught that many passes, though.
Let me see. Yeah, it has been a while.
Yeah, Bryce has done a better job of spreading it around. But yeah, I mean, so there are some things for the individual players to play for. Certainly want to put some stuff on tape. But in terms of, it doesn't matter. Like, the number 1 pick is locked up. We're not doing anything if we win this game. It doesn't matter to the Panthers fans, except to destroy the Bucs fans, which again is not nothing.
Yeah, I mean, throw a drink on the fans. I mean, their hopes.
Yeah, throw a nice cup of cold water on those those fans. Oh man, I hope at some point it becomes a funny thing. right?
I mean, I'm finding it funny now, but
I mean, like it's a thing that we all like look back on and be like, oh my gosh, you remember when David Tepper was that guy, right? Like, oh, I'm so glad that he turned things around and figured it out. Right? Like I hope, like a guy that's 12-3 doesn't do that, right?
yeah, no.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
I think honestly, I think what we just discussed a little while ago about if he went out and apologized, we all understood it. Like,
yeah,
is it would I throw a cup of water or something at someone? No, but at the same time, I don't own the team.
right. It's a different mentality,
Yeah.
right? But it's one of those things where you got the rich owner sitting in his plushy box, tossing his trash onto the peons that are below him, right? Like that. It's a terrible look. It's a terrible look.
Do you want to do any predictions for this game?
Yeah, let's predict the final score here. I Bucks have everything to play for. We have nothing to play for. So I'm going to say the Bucks win this one 30-10.
I'm going to go 23-6 Bucks. Same reason. I don't even think this team feels like rallying for anyone. I think they're
going to win this for Tepper?
Yeah. No.
Screw that guy. Like
they're going to have their whole bags packed before they go out. They're going to shower, zip up their bag, and head out and be like, I am going on vacation.
Yeah. This could be a really ugly game.
Yeah. I mean,
and if it's not, then if it's not an ugly game and if somehow they keep it close and if somehow they win, then major kudos to Chris Tabor.
All the coaches to keep it on.
Thomas Brown, Azura Evero. Yeah, all the coaches. Just it would be the most impressive thing that the Panthers have done all season.
Yeah.
In so many different ways, right? Like win despite Tepper. Maybe that's the rallying cry.
Do you remember Major League, the baseball movie?
I was just thinking about that, and I hope that that's not what's happening. David Tepper still has all of his clothes on.
For those young fans out there that don't know what we're talking about, Major League is a great
Do yourself
sports movie.
favor.
Oh.
Do yourself a favor.
And when you see the owner stand-up that they have, you'll understand why we're laughing about it.
Put David Tepper's face on it. Yeah, put David Tepper's face on it. Just a great movie. What's your favorite sports movie of all time?
Oh God, I don't. I'm gonna say Varsity Blues. Does that count?
Sure. Why not? That's a sports movie.
I really like Varsity Blues. I mean, it could be the whipped cream bikini when I was younger. I don't know.
It's a great scene. Maybe my favorite scene of any sports movie. It's a tough one. I don't know why I asked you because I don't really have an answer. I mean, I think I would probably go Field of Dreams.
I just never got into Field of Dreams. I get it. Maybe
well, you're not a baseball guy.
No.
Because my second one would probably be Bull Durham.
Yeah. See,
but Major League is up there. Tin Cup
League
is up there. Tin Cup is great if you haven't seen it.
Tin Cup is good. Like really good.
I love Tin Cup.
Did you ever watch Unnecessary Roughness?
It sounds familiar.
I think Kathy Ireland's in it.
Yeah, I may not have. You know, I don't watch a ton of like football movies. I love football. I don't watch a ton of football. I've never seen like Remember the Titans.
That's a really good one.
I've never seen Varsity Blues. I've seen that one scene several times, but I haven't seen Varsity Blues. Not another teen movie? Is that considered a sports? Because that's a great one.
Another teen movie?
Not another teen movie? You never seen that? Oh, it's not a sports movie, but it's like one of those spoofs.
Oh, okay, yeah, then I've seen it. I was like trying to think of the sports in that, and I was like, no.
Well, they spoof Varsity Blues in it.
Oh,
that's kind of like the.
You know what movie?
That's like the base.
We haven't even mentioned 80 for Brady.
Oh, have you watched it? One day. All right, that's gonna be one of the off-season podcasts.
That
is the
has
80
to
for
be.
Brady recap.
You'll need to watch Unnecessary Roughness or Necessary Roughness.
We should do a podcast during the off-season about sports movies and just talk about
obscure good sports movie.
Yeah. Hardball. Keanu Reeves. You ever seen that one?
No. The Replacements. Good football movie.
Like it. Fun movie. Yeah. Keanu, sneaky good sports movie guy.
Yeah. Oh, well,
all right.
Point Break, he was a surfer and a college football player.
That is an excellent movie.
Yes, it is.
I'm sure everyone's seen Point Break. That's a great movie. I'm not talking about the new shitty one. I'm talking about the good old one. and then they remade it with Fast and the Furious. Basically the same movie. It is basically the same movie.
Same movie, instead of, surfing, cars.
Yeah. But it's the exact same movie.
I never put the exact same together movie until now.
Yeah. It's the exact same movie. And they're both great. I love both of them.
I do too.
Give me more.
I wouldn't say that about
Not more Fast and the Furious movies, more of that type of movie that's not Fast and the Furious, because that's no longer that type of movie.
No. I watched the most recent one. Movie now or something.
It's not even that. It's just weird. It's like a superhero movie, but not a good one. Like I watched the most recent one and it was terrible. Just awful.
Yeah, I haven't watched any in so long, so that's not.
Well, since Paul Walker passed, like it kind of.
Yeah,
I think they sort of lost the formula, unfortunately. But all right, Jerry, I think that's gonna do it.
All right, thank you for listening, especially if you're still listening to us talk about movies for like 5-10 minutes.
Nothing wrong with that.
Please follow us on Twitter at MeowMixPodcast. If you have any questions or comments, you can email us at mailbag@meowmixpodcast.com. Also, if you have any great sport movies that we didn't mention, send us a shout out.
Yeah,
we might review it.
Yeah,
leave us a 5-star review with a comment on Apple Podcast. We'll read it on the show. Please like and subscribe on YouTube.
We'll be back at some point next week to kind of recap the season.
Hopefully discuss Fitterer's firing.
Hopefully, yeah. Likely that will be our last podcast for the month of January, almost for sure. But we will not abandon you guys for too long. But we do need a break. It's been tough to talk about the Panthers.
We need a break, and whenever the coaching hires really start ramping up, we'll probably hit it.
We say that we're not going to be back, but we'll find something we want to talk about.
We're like heroin addicts with the Panthers, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's.
I just need that taste.
Just need a little taste. And then we said we were not gonna be around, and we immediately did a podcast that next week, and then. I mean, really, the reason, at Christmas and New Year's, like, we probably wouldn't have done podcasts those days anyway. So we didn't really miss anything.
No.
So.
I got to get my taste.
Yeah, got to get our little taste. We're not going to do what Fitterer does for a taste, but, we'll just do it on our own. All right. Bye.